Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome back to Multi-Photo Mondays. Today joining me will be Dolly and Caitlin, so be sure to check out their links listed in the description box. Now I will be creating a layout using these photos that you're looking at right now, and as you can see I have quite a variety of colors going on in these photos. And I will actually be using just 3 of them, not all 5, like I planned to when I first started this layout. So here I'll give you guys a quick look at the photos that I'm working with, and here you can see I have that very bold blue photo. I have actually 2 of them, and then there are 2 that are black background, and these that were actually taken at the National Harbor Aquarium, and I took these back in 2012, and we visited the aquarium, and it was Jellyfish Week at the aquarium. So these are photos of different types of jellyfish, and I absolutely love the jellyfish in those blue photos. So I definitely knew I wanted to use those, and the ones with the black background, you can see I'll try to fit them in, but they just did not fit in very well with the rest of the colors on the other 3 photos. So I put them aside. I will probably use them on another upcoming layout. So I decided to go with a white background so I can add some mixed media to it. And here I'm going to cut off just about a 1/4 inch off 2 sides of the white cardstock and go ahead and mat it on a piece of black cardstock. And I did leave a very thin white border around each of my photo. So yeah, I'm just playing around with the placement of my photos, and I decided at this point I would add it vertically on my layout. Now I believe this pattern paper is from the Twilight collection from One Canoe 2. And the items that I use today, as long as they're still available online, I will go ahead and list them down below. If you have any questions at all, feel free to ask me in the comments. So right now I'm just setting up my page to have those photos vertically, but you'll see eventually I will change my mind with the orientation of those photos. And I'm just going to trim my pattern paper down a bit so I will still have that white and black border around the pattern paper as well. Now these pattern papers are very old. I believe they came with a Gossamer Blue kit, and as we all know, Gossamer Blue is no longer active. I think these are actually from a January kit from either 2018 or 2017. So at this point I decided I wanted it horizontally, and that's how it will remain. And here I'm going to add some mixed media to my background. Now I pulled out my Distress Oxide ink pads, and the one that I'm using right now is Fire Brick. And next up I will be using Fossilized Amber, and I believe I use a teal ink pad. I cannot remember the name of it, but I will have it listed down below. Now I did use the teal just to bring out a bit more blue into my layout because of those really outstanding blue photos of those 2 gorgeous jellyfish. And you'll see later on this background actually does not make it till the end, but I did leave it in because I did use parts of it in the layout later on. So here I'm just adhering my pattern paper and my photos. Now I did use my T-square ruler to line everything up nice and straight, and I did also add some strips of double-sided foam tape behind the photo in the middle so it pops up just a little bit on that pattern paper. So I went ahead and cut off the branding strip of that same pattern paper, and I'm going to add a piece of it to the bottom right and also to the top left of my layout. And at this point, I did start feeling that my background was a bit too busy. As you can see, those photos are really colorful and bright, and I felt like the background was competing with the photos at this point. It was just too much going on this page. So here I grabbed the sticker sheet from the same collection as the pattern paper, and I mistakenly said before it was from the Twilight collection, and it's not. The Twilight collection actually is not very old, but this is from the Hazelwood collection. So here I'm just gonna begin embellishing just a little bit on my layout, and this is where I decided to go ahead and rip this all apart and pretty much start fresh. I did keep the pattern paper, but I went ahead and started again with just the plain white cardstock. And I will bring over that branding strip and add it to the top left corner as well. And at this point I felt a lot better. It just felt a little bit fresher and lighter. And the goal behind my layout, of course, as always, is to have my photos as the main focal point on my layout. And once it started competing with the background, once it became too much, I knew I had to change it. Now, here I'm adding these hexagons, and as you can see on the sticker sheet, they have it in a bit of a pattern coming down the left side of that sticker sheet, and I decided to keep that same pattern on the left side of my layout. Now later on in the video, you'll see that the colors do move around a bit here and there, but for the most part, the pattern will remain the same. Now, I think I forgot to mention, I did also ink the edges of the pattern paper with that fire brick ink pad. So here I'll just keep adding a bit of embellishment. You'll see that that arrow does not make it till the end. It just pretty much got lost on that border strip at the top. And the sticker says adventure awaits, and I'm just gonna move it around until it finds that perfect spot where it looks just right. And I'll just go ahead and trim off the edge. So I decided to use this tag, and I just need the top part to be sticking out of those layers. So I'll go ahead and cut that apart and save the other part of it for a future layout. And then I'll add those two words that says, remember this. And I believe I add a few more word phrases from that sticker sheet as well. Now I will also have some close-up shots coming up at the end of this video, so you'll get a closer look at all of the embellishments that go on this page. So I wanted to use those black and white alphas on my title, and I knew at that point I wanted to bring a little bit more black to my layout. So I am using what remained from the background that I discarded earlier, and I will add a border of black to the top and the bottom of my layout. And I'm just using the grid on my crafting mat just to line up my borders just right. And there I added it to the bottom, and now I'll go ahead and add a strip to the top as well. So right now I'm just adding a bit of twine to this tag, and I decided on this white with a bit of gold twine. And next up, I will go ahead and add a few word phrases to this layout. Now, on my desk, I do have a stack of embellishments and sticker sheets and so on that I use from as much as I can. They're very close to being used up, so whenever I do a layout, I try to grab from those first and try to finish them up as soon as I can. So I went ahead and grabbed a sticker sheet from, I believe it's Paige Evans. I cannot remember the name of the collection, but it's an older collection. And here I will go ahead and add some word phrases. Now the top left cluster, it says absolutely marvelous, and I also added one that says unique. And that's the one that says unique that I'm adding right now. And to the bottom, I also added, to the bottom right, I added words that says wow. It also says loving every moment. And I will also go ahead and use some of those gold hearts and add them in various spots all around my page. Now here I grabbed that little circle, and that says that was so cool, and I will end up adding it to that lower right cluster. And that brought in a bit of peachy orange color, and if you look closely at those jellyfish, they have a bit of an orangey color to them as well. Now these jellyfish are so gorgeous, and you will get a closer look at them later on when I do the close-up of my layout at the end of this video. Now the photo in the middle, I have not talked about that photo so far, and that photo is of my 4 kids, my 3 sons and my daughter. And behind them, hanging from the ceiling in the aquarium, is actually a bunch of very colorful, a display of jellyfish. Not actual real jellyfish, but just a display of what, it seems to be jellyfish. And it's not real, of course, so there are various colors of blues and pinks and so on. It was really pretty to look at. And there you can see I'm just playing around with those hexagons once again. And I believe I am going to add that gold heart. So I wanted to go ahead and work on my my title, but first of all I will add a bit of splatters to that white space on my layout. And I am using the Liquitex Iridescent Gold, and I am also using my black India ink. Now I just added a very little splatters, not too much. I did not want it to be too bold, but I just did not want that space to just be completely white. So here I'm going to use my T-square ruler to make sure my title is nice and straight, and I will use those black and white alphas to spell out the words jellyfish. And next up I will grab a stamp that says awesome, and that stamp is from the Ellie Studio Title Builder stamp set. So here I'll use the stamp together with the black Archival Ink Pad, and I will go ahead and stamp that right above the word jelly. So my title will read Awesome Jellyfish. Up next, I will go ahead and grab some enamel triangles, and these are also from that Hazelwood collection. And I will go ahead and add some around my title as well as the bottom right cluster of my layout. Now, as you can see, this layout turned out really colorful and bright, and without all of that mixed media, that ink on the background, my title shows up a lot and my photos remain the focal point on my layout. So here's where I messed up just a bit. I went ahead and added a bit of journaling under the word fish. And I have a bit of issues with my handwriting. I am not very fond of my handwriting. I am learning to accept it, but sometimes are better than others. And this is one time that I really did not like how it looked. So here I'm going to attempt to fix that by covering it up, and I decided to go ahead and use some of the background that I discarded from my earlier attempt. So as you can see, there is a bit of that black border still around that part of that background from earlier, and I will go ahead and leave the black border as it is. And I will also need to add a little bit more to the right side just to extend it out to the full length of that layout. And here I'm just using my T-square ruler to make sure I line up both pieces nice and straight. And of course it will have that seam where they both meet each other right there in the middle. And I believe I used that tag and I added right to that same spot, so it will hide that seam just a bit. And you can see the background I created earlier, it did come in handy right now. And it added that bit of mixed media that I really wanted before, but just in a bit of a more subtle way. So I still have the look that I wanted, but it just all blends together really nicely. Now it's just not overdone like it was before. And there I added that tag so it hides the seam, and there I'll go ahead and add those stickers back in. Now at this point, I believe I began messing around with those hexagons once again. And yes, this is where I added some foam tape to the back of two of them so that they pop off the background just a bit and add a bit of dimension to the layout. And here I am gonna struggle a bit to get the backing off, and I will go ahead and add those back onto the left side of my layout. So up next, I will just grab a few more embellishment pieces and just add a few finishing touches. And first up, I do believe I grabbed some gold hearts, and these are from a Sweet and Simple collection from Pink Fresh Studios. And I will go ahead and add those to 3 areas on this layout. And as you can see, I'm almost completely done with that sticker sheet. And I will also grab some enamel dots and add a bit more black to the background. Now I did try to use the leaf, but it just did not work with this layout. It just did not fit in very nicely. So here is where I grabbed those those enamel dots, and I'll just use all of the black ones on the background. So I really hope you guys enjoy this process today. If you did, please go ahead, give me a thumbs up. Take a look around my channel. If you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. Don't forget, click on the bell, and that way you'll be notified once new layouts have been posted. And I will be posting multi-photo layouts twice each month. So be sure to come back and check out those videos. In the meantime, I also do art journal layouts as well as mini album or traveler's notebook layouts. And I also have a few other projects coming up that I'll be sharing with you guys soon. So be sure to click on that bell so that way you'll be notified once I post new videos. And remember, go over to Caitlin's and Dolly's channel and check out their layouts they did today using multiple photos as well. So here I'll give you guys a close-up look once I'm done adding my journal, and this time all that I added, it says Jellyfish Week at National Harbor Aquarium. And on the middle photo, it does have the date on there. The date stamp is on there, 4/22/2012, so that's already dated. So I want to thank you guys for watching today, and until my next video, bye.